exceeds 1.4 million on Twitter and I think almost 2 million on Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Education New Zealand's first Indian brand ambassador, Miss Kriti Sanon.
So that's the hongi, as John said. That is a traditional New Zealand Māori greeting. And you notice that we pressed our foreheads and noses together, and in doing so we share the breath of life with each other, and it's a way of intermingling our souls and welcoming Kriti truly to the New Zealand family.
Thank you so much, thank you. Now that you're inducted into the larger New Zealand family, how does it feel? It feels great, firstly, and it feels great to be a part of the New Zealand family. And thank you so much for welcoming me in the most traditional way. Hongi was a very different and great experience, and I love the concept behind it. I think it's very, very interesting. I think education is something that I have always really felt very strongly for, and I'm glad that even though I've sort of switched my path to a filmy career, I'm glad that I'm still able to do something in the line of education for the students of our country. And thank you so much. I hope that I'm able to inspire a lot of people and help them shape their career prospects in a better way.
Yeah, great. So I think a lot of people here would like to know a little bit about you and how was it growing up, and in your family, what was the thing on education? What was the emphasis of education with your parents and your rest of the family?
Well, as John said, my mom's a professor in Delhi University. She teaches physics, so I was always good at physics. And my dad's a chartered accountant. So education was always very, very important in my house, and it was very important to do well also. So I was a very studious kid, getting above 90% in all my classes. And I was one of those kids who can't sleep without finishing your course if you have an exam tomorrow. The front benchers, what we call. I think, you know, that thing was inculcated in me that whatever I do, I have to give it my best and I have to do it right. So that was always there, and I chose to go for engineering in electronics and communication, which again I think you know, it doesn't only help you increase or enhance your analytic ability, but I think it also teaches you how to work best under pressure, because you have exams like thrice in 4 months, which is insane. When I realized what I wanted to do in life, when I realized my passion, I was still told by my parents, and it's something that I wanted myself to complete my degree, to complete my education, because I feel that primary education and a good qualification not only makes you feel secure, but also somewhere improves your personality. It's what makes you have your opinions in life. You know, what you want to do, your sense of right and wrong. You're more aware and you're more confident about every decision that you're making in life. Yeah. So I think education has been like the thing in my family which you have to do no matter what.
So yeah, we've got a physics whiz kid and a studious student. I think with that change, we come back to you, Kriti, on how was it transitioning from a very studious academic engineer to films, and how do you think that degree helped you work or change your career path?
You know, I think it's so strange, because as a kid I was so shy that when someone used to come to my house, I used to just go and hide like behind my mom. So coming to a time where I'm facing live audience, I'm acting in front of the camera where there are like hundreds of people around, and not being conscious, I think it is the education that I've gotten that's over the time helped me. Education, I feel, is firstly a lifelong process. It's not every day you're learning something new, something different. Even today, when I'm working on the set, I'm learning new things every day, and I'm growing as a person because of that. Not too many of us, I feel, realize our passions very soon in life. I think they're only fortunate people who know exactly what they're passionate about, what they want to do in their life, you know. And I think I realized that when I started modeling when I was in my second year of college. But to have the confidence to just switch in a different direction also needs, you know, a sense of security, which I think my educational degree gave to me and to my parents to a large extent. Because I just wanted to finish my degree. I had 2 job offers in my hand, but I knew what I really wanted to do. And that certainty in your mind, you know, of chasing your dreams, that confidence that you have, I think it all comes from being educated, because you know the pros and cons of things, you form opinions, you're more aware of what's happening around and what can be done and what can be achieved. So I think it has helped me a lot. In fact, even today when I'm on set, I feel engineering does one thing, it makes you question a lot. You learn how to put logics to everything that you do. You don't just follow directions, you know everything has a why to it. So I think when I'm on set, when I'm thinking of a character, I'm someone who asks a lot of questions, but it's important for me because it's important for me to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. Sure. And yeah, I think putting logic to things is something that's come from education that I use in my everyday life as an actor.
Yeah, absolutely. I think well said. It's a whole life learning process. And Kriti, why did you sort of choose to associate yourself with New Zealand education?
Firstly, as I said, education is something that I'm always all in for. I think it's so important for every individual. And I think in the times that we are in and the coming time, I think technology is something that's becoming more and more important with every passing day. And I think we need to come to a point where we help a future generation that is more of a global citizens. Yeah. You know, it consists of global citizens who are not only having an educational qualification, but at the same time are able to adapt to different cultures, are able to adapt to different surroundings, are able to collaborate with people from across the world, and just come at par with everyone who's around in different parts of this world. So I think it's very important to just go out there, experience things, to experience different ways of education. I think the methods of education are so different in every country. And New Zealand, I feel, has one of the best opportunities, the maximum variety of courses with, as he said, a very, very safe, a very positive and multicultural environment. And all the universities of New Zealand come under the top 3% globally, which is superb. I myself have so many cousins who actually have gone and studied, done their postgrads and all in New Zealand, and they've spoken some great things about it. So I think for people in India, I feel it's important to just also go out there and have the opportunities to study what you really like in an environment which is very different and very global.
So this is a special koru carving. It signifies new beginning, new life, which is totally apt for this relationship which is starting with Kriti. Growth, strength and peace. The circular shape of the koru helps to convey the idea of perpetuity.
Kriti, I wanted to ask that how much has there been a moment when you missed not, having studied abroad? Like you said that a lot of your cousins have studied in New Zealand. And also wanted to know that how much do you think a person evolves globally if he or she studies abroad?
Thanks, Priyanka, for the question. Missing studying abroad, I must tell you, I've given a GMAT entrance exam. And I have a score which I think now is not valid. I gave that with a plan B, a backup thing for my parents, because my parents were like, oh, you've done your BTech and now you're not pursuing it, and you're going and you're doing something completely different. What if you don't excel at that, and what if you don't get an opportunity? So I actually had an opportunity to go and study abroad. But I had sort of found my passion in films, and that's why I'm here. But I do feel that yes, you do evolve as a person. I think when I see my friends or even my cousins who studied abroad, I think it sort of broadens their horizon. Their perspective on things is very different. I think how living independently away from your family sort of evolves you as a person. It's almost similar, living away from your country, seeing the methods of other people, interacting with people who are culturally very different from you, I think also evolves you as a person. I think, I do realize it, that the more you interact with different cultures, the more you interact with different people, the more aware you are. And it internally changes you as a person where you don't even realize. I think even today, like when I'm in this profession, I feel that only because I'm able to talk to people with different opinions on things, am I able to think the way I do right now.